This is something that I haven't heard a lot of people really talk about, but and because it's not like the fun, sexy football part, we'll get to that part shortly. But the reason why you can't say, "Oh, it's just the old Raiders again," is this reason, right? You can always say, no matter who the new head coach, new quarterback, new coordinators, new strength and conditioning coach, new secretary, new janitor. Like, you can always say, well, it's still the old Raiders because the old Raiders at the top are making the decisions. This is why we're not the old Raiders anymore.
I think they wanted to reestablish credibility. And like with Brady coming in as the owner, and I think what people haven't paid attention to with the Raiders is how Brady brought in these other big money guys, right? So there's Mike Meldman, who is the founder of Discovery Land, which, for people who don't know, that's the company that built the Yellowstone Club. So like big money. And then Egan Durbin is the name you hear a lot in NFL circles. He's the CEO of Silver Lake. And Tom Wagner, who's Tom Brady's business partner.
That who is running this organization now, those businessmen and Tom Brady, not Mark Davis from PF Chang's. And just to put a little like context in this, right? He mentioned Egan Durbin from Silver Lake, right? The Raiders are probably valued at like $6 billion, right? $5, $6, $7 billion is what an NFL franchise goes for ish these days. Egan Durbin, Silver Lake CEOs, has $105 billion in assets. This motherfucker is running like even if he owned the Raiders outright, it would be like me having a paper route. It would be like the lowest, easiest part of my day. Him running a multi-billion-dollar NFL franchise. This is child's play. This is the CEO of Starbucks running a lemonade stand, right? That is who is involved in running this organization. It's not a mom and pop store anymore. The Las Vegas Raiders are a international brand with the brightest and richest minds and the deepest pockets out there running it.
Yeah, it really is a big deal. I know a lot of, we heard a lot of comments. I read a lot of comments of people who were like, it doesn't matter. The owners doesn't matter. It doesn't translate to the field. Well, yeah, it does. It really does. Leadership up top really does trickle down to the field. And you're seeing that right now.
Show me one NFL franchise with a shitty owner that's consistently successful. Like the Redskins were garbage forever. They had like 1.5 seasons of a new owner, playoffs. Like it just doesn't happen. Only good owners have consistently winning franchises.
You know, you take a look at the decisions that this ownership has made with the head coach and the coaching staff. This coaching staff, I'm talking about even the position coaches. This is like an all-star coaching staff. These guys are guys who have done it at multiple places, done it at a high level, and know how to get the best. These are all teachers. These aren't implementers. Like Josh McDaniels is more of an implementer. He's going to implement his scheme and fit you into that. These guys are all teachers, and they're Put a guy here, put a guy there. These guys are all teachers here. Chip Kelly's offense is completely different from the last time he was in the NFL. Completely different. These guys are all going to get the best out of these players, and they're going to do their best to put them in positions to succeed. And you don't get this type of coaching staff by penny pinching and be like, well, this guy is good enough. There is no good enough. Who's the guy that we need to get? Let's go out and get him. Let's pay $6 million for Chip Kelly. Let's make sure that we're the first phone call after Liam Cohen is announced as the head coach. He's going to sign as the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's make that phone call right away to Patrick Graham and get him back on board. Let's get the position coaches that we need to get. Let's get all these guys together to make sure that we're doing everything we can to win right now. And leadership, in business, in life, in sports, in anything, is you have to get good people around you that make good decisions. And they were in the position to put the money up, and they did. They spent a lot of money on this coaching staff, and it's not because they had 102 coaches like we had last season. It's because the guys that they picked have a good price tag to them because they're that good.
And Breer elaborated on exactly what you're talking about.
Ben Johnson and his agent basically went through potential suitors in November and December and looked at it and said, okay, here's who we're gonna kind of pick and choose who we interview with. And then they kind of got ahead of it and told certain teams like, hey, don't bother we don't want to embarrass you. Just don't put a request in. We're not going to interview you, right? We're not going to interview with you. So they did that with the Raiders, and then the Raiders came back and said, well, wait a minute, like, let me put you on the phone with Tom. And so they put him on the phone. They put Ben Johnson's camp on the phone with Brady, who basically explained to Ben Johnson, like, look, like, this is going to be completely different. And after about an hour and a half on the phone, all of a sudden now Ben Johnson is interviewing with the Raiders. Now, they didn't wind up getting him, but I do think a big piece of that was, we're not going to be a cash poor team anymore. We're going to have resources. We're going to pour into the organization. We're going to pour into the football operation. This is going to be a whole new thing. And I think it wound up being an intriguing job to coaches because of that, because this is like being on the ground floor of something.
So you're asking, how does that translate to wins? How does that give us better players, better coaches, et cetera? It's like, that's how they're adults in the room at the Raiders. Before, to get good people on the Raiders organization and just overpay them. We were that team. It's like, all right, let's just cash out with the Raiders. Now we can still overpay, and we do, and it's a destination. And don't second guess the whole getting on the ground floor or something, to be able to say, like, you bought stock low, right? You bought stock low, and you bought Bitcoin in 2016, right? Like, don't underestimate that appeal for a lot of people as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, in this sense, we're not really overpaying. We're paying a lot, but we're getting more for what we're paying for. In the past, because there were some issues of, this team is kind of cash strapped at the time, or there a lot of turmoil. You're not going to get the number one A1 guy out there, and the guy that you do get, you do have to pay him like that, because you got to pay him more to go to your franchise. And it's not just head coach we're talking about coordinators. We're talking about position coaches, stuff like that, guys that really make a huge difference on the team. That because the coordinators are great. The coordinators, call the plays and draw them up, and they put the players in the positions. But as far as development, you really need those position coaches to be able to do that.
So Brady is again, I can't stress enough. Like, we think, oh, NFL sports is the biggest thing. It's not the pimple on the ass of like international economics, international business. Like, it's nothing. Like, good example. Mark Waller, who's buying the Lakers, right? $10 billion to buy the Lakers. Biggest U.S. franchise sale in the history of sports, right? Everyone's like, oh my God, that's huge. It's such crazy money. Mark Waller is the CEO of Guggenheim Partners. They have $325 billion in assets. Again, this is child's play to them. This is nothing. Like, this is like, it's like the biggest money, the biggest deal ever. This is nothing. Like, they grow and destroy nations on a whim. People of this position of power. You think a pro sports franchise is going to like baffle them? Like, these are motherfuckers that can just like call the president and get something done, right? That's what Tom Brady brought to this organization. We went from a ma and pa franchise to like the richest, most connected people in the world being invested in us. And Tom Brady was that bridge. Like, that's how big Tom Brady is he's dragging this tiny little thing called the NFL and pulling in like the biggest movers and shakers on the planet. Like, and Tom Brady's that catalyst that's like bringing it all together.
Hey, you made it to the end of our video. Great job. I know you want more. Go ahead and click the next video. And if you're feeling crazy, go ahead and subscribe.